We've been talking, you've been staying on the piano. I want to stay with that for a moment. If I walked over to your piano and your piano could speak to me and I would ask your piano to tell me about Chick Corea, what would it tell me?
Well, the piano in my studio right now would say, "Hey, where is he?" Because I've been gone, you know.
Brush the dust off.
Yeah.
But what do you think? What do you think your piano would say about you?
I think they give you a pretty good report. I keep my pianos in incredibly top condition all the time. I keep them clean. I keep them tuned. And I'm practically the only one that plays them. So it's a pretty intimate relation.
And as an artist, how would they describe you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know what their tastes are. They seem to like what I do.
I'm sure they do, right? Let's reverse it then. How is the piano an extension of your life?
The piano came to be an instrument that I fell in love with to use to make music, and it has been from the start, and still is my number one way to convey music to people, and to make music myself. So no matter how many other ways, being a composer or being a synthesizer player or doing a lot of other different things musically, the piano's always been my first means of expression.
Scientology. I want to know how spirituality affects what you compose, the way you compose, and the nature of your compositions.
Well, one of the things that I got quite confirmed by studying the works of Hubbard, kind of always knew this, but L. Ron Hubbard's works describe this point better than anything that I've ever seen.
Because?
Which is the fact that people are spiritual beings, not bodies. They're not minds, they're not bodies, they're not physical things. We're spirit. And it's the spirit that makes the decisions, that has the perceptions, is the one who looks and makes decisions, is the one who has tastes, is the one who writes the compositions, you see. So any advance in life that is ever really to be made ultimately is a spiritual advance. Because when one learns something technically, if I learn to play another different kind of scale, or I learn another musical technique, or I learn to operate my computer in a different way, these are all just means to an end, and it's only myself or anyone as a spiritual being that has the reason for doing these things, the purpose for life, the purpose for playing the game in the first place, you see. And I have found since 1968, L. Ron Hubbard and the study of Scientology that he developed to be an incredibly powerful way to learn how to improve myself and things around me spiritually.
And with that, how did you bring the two together in concert? How did you use the teachings of L. Ron Hubbard to be the vehicle for the music of Chick Corea so that you could bring the two together?
Well, I think the way improvement works, because we're talking about the subject of improvement, it's what would you say? Improvement is a natural dynamic that
the quest for knowledge.
A person has.
The quest for knowledge.
Right? You don't have to teach someone to want to improve. They do. You want to
instinctually.
Improve. And the way improvement happens is one finds ways to improve himself. And basically Scientology is a way to improve oneself. So I've used this subject and still use the subject and still learn incredible amounts from it in order to improve myself, my awareness, add abilities, increase my perceptions. Then I operate in life. So it's nothing that Scientology does for music. It's what Scientology does for me that I then do for my life.
Have you made the definitive CD, or do you think that you still live with that ultimate disc that you want to make inside of you?
Yeah, I have not made the definitive CD. I have not.
Because?
Because, it's hard to describe because I have not made yet a CD that has reached everybody, to use the term loosely.
You don't think so?
I'm talking about, you know, young people and really young people and not so young people, and then middle-aged people and older people, and, you know, Eastern people and Western people, and people of this walk, this kind of life, and people of that kind of life. And I don't know, I think it's probably, I know that it's possible to do that. Mozart did it.
Chick, trust me, my friend. You are touching people all over the world with your music for many, many, many decades. Is there anything not realized as a musician, anything that you haven't learned that you want to learn, the quest?
Yeah. One of my next challenges is as a songwriter. I want to learn how to write songs and either sing them myself or or find work with great vocalists and surround the song with a kind of a production, the entertainment value of which we find in movies, but which has as its core music. And I don't know how to describe it. It's not particularly an MTV video.
Right.
It's not a drama like Bird, the movie, which is about Bird, but
The Clint Eastwood film.
yeah, the Clint Eastwood movie, which I love, by the way. Maybe it's more like a production that you would see on stage that involves musicians, but there's song and message and other aspects to it that make it a story, but with music in the forefront rather than in the background.
Now that's something you want to accomplish. So with that said, how do you go about getting it?
I don't know, I have to take one step at a time. I'm going to go home and put my new keyboard rig together and see whether I'm going to use soft synthesizers or hard synthesizers, and then get more proficient at writing songs and try my hand at lyricizing songs, find some of my lyricist friends and get them working with me again, and just experiment.
You just mentioned soundtracks, something that you might want to do, film, perhaps?
I'm not interested in writing music for movies, no. But I mean, unless there was a producer that came along like Kurosawa or something like that, and he said, hey, you know, let's make a film together or something like that. I'm more interested in making a production myself that would, the main focus of which would be music.
The toolbox for a great musician, and in my estimation, and I know I speak for millions of others, you are a great musician. The toolbox of a great musician has to have what?
Toolbox. Well, first tool is the tool of human relations, and that's the tool of communication, because no art form, no music lives without the artist being able to make that emotion and that feeling and that idea arrive for real at the listener. And that's an art. That's a skill and an art, and it's the #1 tool. I've seen musicians and artists and people in general have losses at trying to be artists or trying to perform or trying to play, not because they were technically bad or they didn't have a good ear or had some other kind of mechanical difficulty, but because their willingness maybe or their ability to communicate to people around them was not developed yet. And so that's the first tool in the toolbox, is the ability to communicate.
And then?
After that, it's a pretty, that subject, maybe that subject should take up 98% of the toolbox. And then the other 2%, you could find the rest of the answers on the internet, in schools, talking with friends, watching videos, listening to CDs, observing other artists and seeing how their techniques work. The rest of it is mechanical. The rest of it is technical. The rest of it is gaining bits of technique to be able to realize what it is that you would like to realize, and that's fun too. But most artists' toolboxes start out with 95% of mechanical tools and 5% of communication tools. So you just have to change the
dynamics around
the ratio.
The ratio, right.
Yeah.
A tremendous body of work. And as I told you before we sat down here to chat, I know my own personal collection at home, and I followed you for so long. I've got to have over 45 Chick Corea
Wow.
discs. Define for me what's best for you musically right now at this point in your life forthcoming.
You know, I can't answer that question because I'm in an experimental mode. I'm not sure is the answer. I know many things that it's not, and one thing that it's not is to confine my production only to a limited audience. I want to find a way to reach a broader audience and keep the quality of my music exactly what it is, and that's why I'm interested in the song form. I also know that as a composer and as a performer, I always enjoyed having a larger sound palette than just the piano. And so I'm putting my new keyboard rig together again with, and I haven't touched electric keyboards for 12 years or so, and the technology has gone out
Into
the
the
top.
stratosphere, right.
So I'm now in a kind of a research mode, checking out what the new technology offers and so forth, you know.
Well, trust me, with a mind like yours and the talent and the gift that you have, nothing is unreachable for you. Nothing. And I mean that with the greatest amount of sincerity. Just recently in stores, selected recordings, brilliant recordings, magnificent recordings of Chicks on ECM records, and this just recently in stores. Also forthcoming, the Rendezvous project. And Chick, I cannot thank you enough for accepting my invitation. As I said,
Yeah,
this has been a real pleasure. Thank you for doing
Great
this.
fun talking to you,
The
man.
pleasure's been mine. Appreciate it.
Thanks.